Hello, it's Belinda. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing my process for days 5 and 6 of my 2018 December daily album, which I'm working on this month in July for my Scrappy Happy Christmas in July project. It's nice and cold here in Western Australia, so it's the perfect time to be getting stuck into these Christmas projects. So for day 5, I have 3 photos of my daughter with her very first chocolate advent calendar. And I'm just telling the little story about that. Because I have filled the pockets for this page with photos, I'm creating another little flip. And to do that, I'm just adhering those 2 cards back to back, which I've done. And then I've realized that I actually wanted to type up my journaling on one of those cards. So I've just pulled them apart. And I'm going to pop it onto a plain piece of white copy paper just to avoid getting that sticky adhesive onto the roller of my typewriter. So I'm going to go away, grab my typewriter, do that journaling, and now I'll come back and start again with creating that little flip up. So if you want a little bit more detail on how I do my flip ups and my approach to spacing them apart just to get a nice fold, you'll be able to see that in my previous video, which I'll link for you now. I just go through why I add a little bit of space between the cards when I'm sticking them together with my washi tape. So I have decided to only do a couple of days at a time for this video series. The last video, it was quite long. I felt like I was trying to squeeze too much in, and so the videos were sped up quite a bit and I felt like it was just a bit too jumpy. So I'm going a little bit slower now, just to let you see what it is that I'm doing, and hopefully to have some slightly shorter videos, because I know that not everybody can sit down and watch a 25-minute video in one go. So I've got my little washi tape dispenser there, which I love, and I'm using just a red washi tape with some white polka dots that are kind of scattered about. So I guess they kind of look like snow, not that we ever have snow here in Australia in December. So that's all done, and now I'm going to do just a little bit of embellishing. I've pulled out these puffy circle number stickers, which were from Ellie's Studio, and I've grabbed one of my fabric stars that I made. This one's white with just some silver glitter dots on it, and I'm going to use a bit of glue on the back of that number because it is going to be sitting open in the pocket and I don't want it to come off. It's not super sticky, so the glue will just help it stick to the fabric a little bit better. And then I'm also going to use some glue on the back of the fabric star to stick it to that Joy flip up. And you'll see that when I put the star onto the card, or when I adhere the star down onto the card, I'm leaving it coming off the bottom edge. And that's really the indication to anybody that's going through that that is an interactive card or an interactive piece in the album. So I'm hoping that by leaving that hanging just off the edge slightly there, it'll give whoever's looking at the album something to use to flip that card up so that they can read the journaling that's underneath and see the extra photo that's underneath. So I'm just going away now to pull out some extra bits and pieces just to see if I wanted to do anything else on this card. And I decided that I didn't. I think I decided that I didn't. Yes, I decided that I didn't. So I'm going to leave that card as it is, but I am going to add something to that bottom photo where there's just a little bit of white space or blank space there in the bottom left. And what I'm grabbing now is I have a little bag that's just got a whole bunch of random embellishments that came with all the different kits and I've had in my stash. And I'll go and organize those a little bit later so they're a bit easier for me to look through. So I found this white cardboard star tag, and I'm sorry, I actually have no idea where that came from. And then I'm just going to add another circle piece on top of that, which is like a cut apart from the Ellie Studio kit. And then I've just grabbed some really thin red rickrack trim which I'm going to add through the hole in that tag. So I've used a pop dot behind that circle love piece, playing around with maybe layering it up, but I decided to just keep it simple, and it's consistent with the embellishment that I've got on that joy card as well. Now I played around with this because I had an idea of how I wanted it to look while it was sitting in there. I kind of wanted the red rickrack to wrap around the top of that star. So it is a little bit off camera. Hopefully I'll bring it back in. But you can see that I'll fiddle around with getting it so that the rickrack's actually sitting, the trim's sitting on either side of the point of that star, and then it's coming through the middle. And then I'm just playing around with tightening it up. It wouldn't pull very easily just because of the ridges on the side of the trim. So once I'm done and I'm happy with the way that looks, I'll add a little bit of glue to the back, stick it down, trim off the tops of the rickrack ribbon, and that is day 5 completed. Okay, on to day 6. Now I'm just going to apologise in advance if there's any weird noises. My neighbours have typically just decided to do some construction work in their backyard in the middle of the day while my son is napping, which is the only time that I get to record a voiceover at the moment. So for day 6, I have used another one of those old Ali Edwards templates, which I had run through the mink with some silver foil, which I know you're not really going to see in the video here, but in person it looks really lovely. And a large photo. This was the day that my then fiance, now husband, flew back in from work, so we were excited to go to the airport to pick him up. So I've got some photos of the kids waiting, and then him with the kids when we got home. And I've got this really cute red paper which has got some little tiny love hearts and polka dots pattern across the bottom of it. I thought it was really fitting for the story of the day. And I've trimmed that down to size just to fit in that slot down the bottom there. And then I've gone away and I braved myself, or I was very brave, and I tried some silver foil thread in my sewing machine. If you have watched some of my previous videos, you would have seen a layout where I ran some gold foil through my old sewing machine and I blew it up. It died. So I have a new sewing machine which is brilliant, and I decided that I would give it a go with the silver foil, and it worked so much better. It was still a little bit fiddly, but I didn't blow it up, so that's a win. So I've added that silver around the edge of that piece of paper on the 6x8 page, and I've also run the silver thread around the outside of my journaling card on the left there. And then I've grabbed this stamp set from Felicity Jane, and I've just stamped a sentiment in the middle of that little thin section on the template that says all is bright. And then I've just got, it's just a row of dots, and I'm going to put those on either side of that sentiment. And I've just used a bit of washi tape and some scrap paper to mask that off so that I don't get anything running over the edges. That's me counting out the dots to see if I got it centered, which I hadn't, but that's okay. And then I'll get on to embellishing these 2 pages. I just thought I'd come on live quickly for a moment here to show you something that I've just done while searching for some little glitter stars to finish off this spread. I remembered something that I had in my stash, and ran away to grab that. So what I've got is a cutting die. I can't recall the manufacturer, but I'm pretty sure it's called a confetti die. And what it is it's just a series of small hearts. There's 3 different sizes, and then I run it through the cutting machine. And because I know that throughout this album I'm going to be using a lot of stars, I'm going for a real star glitter motif throughout this album. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out 3 copies of this, if that's the right word, one with some red glitter, one with some silver glitter paper, and one with some green glitter paper. So once I pop that out, I will have a lot of these tiny glitter stars that I can use throughout my album. And I've just got this really cute little pop top glass jar, which I picked up, I believe, at IKEA last year. I'll probably just pop the lid off that and then throw all my stars in there, and I'm ready to dig through and grab them whenever I need them. Okay, so I've got my little jar full of glitter stars now. They're going to be great to add throughout the album. And I've pulled out some silver glitter stars and a few red glitter stars, and I'm just going to use those to embellish the 6x8 page on the right, and then the journaling card and the photos on the left. So I'm just going to stick 3 of these little stars down on the right first, using some liquid adhesive and my trusty little tweezers, which I never used to use, and honestly it's changed so much for me since I've started using those, because my fingers are not very dexterous, and so holding on to little things, and then it's not finessed with me. So those tweezers just allow me to do things that my clumsy fingers can't do on their own. So I've got 3 silver stars on the right, and then 3 red stars on the left there. I'm not sure if you can see on that journaling card, there is a little bit of text at the top there that just says Merry Happy. And then I'm trying to decide what to do with the stars on my photos. I was initially going to put stars on both of the photos, but then the photo of my son Jack, I'd decide, doesn't actually need anything. And the one up the top on the right, I just thought I'd give it a little bit, something a little bit extra. So I've grabbed some of that thin red Rick Rack trim, and I'm just going to cut a small piece and adhere that behind the glitter star in the top left of that photo of my daughter Violet. So you'll see me do that, and then that will be it for day 6. Thank you so much for joining me. Stick around for some close-up photos of these 2 spreads. If you like what you've seen, please give me a thumbs up, and feel free to go ahead and subscribe if you are interested in seeing the rest of my videos. I do have lots more December daily, Christmas in July videos coming up. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.